Yes, people, how you doing? Welcome back to Shameless Football. Sorry for the absence of content recently. A couple of things popped up for both of us, but we're back. How are you, Henry?
I'm good, mate. I'm good. It's good to be back. It's been a couple of weeks. People have been asking both of us, when's it coming back? And, just like Amazon, we're going to deliver. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to it, mate.
Mate, big game of fixtures to get through. This is obviously your Friday night predictions. We're going to catch up on Monday to see who's in the mud and see who got it right. Obviously, we haven't done it for the last couple of weeks, but I am currently leading. I took the victory on the first week we did, so I'm 1-0 up. Let's see if you can equalise with some better predictions from you. We're going to start with the early game against our team. Tottenham is playing Luton Town. Mate, interesting game. A potential banana skin for Tottenham if they take their foot off the gas or if they're eye off the ball a little bit here. How do you see it going?
Yeah, exactly that. It could be a potential banana skin. I think we'll win. I think we're going to win 3-0, but I don't think the scoreline is going to be respective to the performance. I think we'll just be clinical. But, we've had a couple of games where we faced low blocks and we blew Burnley and Bournemouth away, but then struggled against, the likes of Liverpool's 9 men and Sheffield United. So I'm going to go 3-0. I think we'll win, but it could be scrappy.
Not that we're keeping tabs on goal scorers, but who do you see scoring for Tottenham?
Son 2, Maddison 1.
Okay. Now, I also think it's going to be a tougher game. I'm going to go for 2-0 Tottenham. I think it all depends on how we start. If it's 0-0 at half time, I think it could be panic stations and it could be one of those really frustrating afternoons. But I'm really hopeful that if we do put out our full strength team, which I hope that Angie's going to do tomorrow, then we should get through it. So I'm going to go 2-0. And I think that the goal scorers, I think Kulusevski's going to get one tomorrow. And I also think that Richie is overdue one as well. So I'm going to give him some faith and credit. Let's see what happens. So 2-0 in my book and 3-0 in yours. Both seeing Tottenham temporarily at least go top of the table before other fixtures play out over the weekend. Burnley versus Chelsea is next. I'm going to go first in this one, mate. I think that Chelsea have got starting to turn the corner a little bit, starting to get some of their early season shakiness out of the way off the back of the West London derby against Fulham. Fulham didn't really turn up to it, which surprised me and disappointed me a little bit. I think Chelsea are going to have too much for Burnley. Burnley are going to come and play their game again at their stadium. I'm going to go 2-1 to Chelsea. And I think I'm going to give the credit this time to Raheem Sterling. If he's fully fit, I think he is, then I'm going to get him back in the pitch. And I think also I'm going to see him get a goal, maybe even 2.
He didn't start against Fulham, did he? He was left on the bench. I'm going to go 1-0 Chelsea, and I'm going to go Mudryk with the goal. Played really well against Fulham, got his goal. Collectively, Chelsea are by far the better team. Plus, they beat Brighton in the cup as well. I think they'll win 1-0. Burnley's, no one likes going to Burnley. It's a complete nightmare to get to for any fan, and the stadium's not that great. And I just, to be honest, I just got an agenda against Burnley. I don't really like them, but I'm going 1-0. 1-0 Chelsea, Mudryk goal.
All right, yeah, Burnley's struggles are going to continue. Next up on the agenda, mate, is Everton versus Bournemouth. I reckon this could be an absolute stink fest. For some reason, I think it could be 0-0 or one goal in it either way. It's not going to be a highlight on the match of the day. Every time I say that, though, I get it completely wrong and it turns out being a 4 or 5 goal thriller. For me, I think Dominic Calvert-Lewin is going to be the guy who gets the 3 points for Everton and going to try and climb up the table. Yeah,
no one on this Saturday goes, you know what? I want to tune into Everton versus Bournemouth. I mean, that's absolutely
even disgusting. The teams don't want to go. Both sets of teams are like, oh, turn it off. It's absolute stink fest on its way here, mate, for me. Yeah, I'm going to go 1-0 Everton, though. What's your score prediction?
I think 0-0 could be right. I think 0-0. I'm going to go 0-0. I think they generally... Yeah, I mean, if it's going to be a goal, it's going to be Everton. But 0-0, I'm going to go.
That would take them out of the. If Everton do win, then that might lift them up the table to be 12th or 13th, I'd imagine, depending on what else happens elsewhere. Next up, though, mate, is 2 teams that it could be another absolute boring stink fest of a game. Fulham versus Sheffield United. I'll let you take this one first, my man.
Fulham versus Sheffield United. I think Fulham will win 1-0. Sheffield United aren't great. We struggle to break them down. we as in Tottenham, but Sheffield United they're a poor side. They're bottom of the league for a reason. They've conceded 19 goals, and I think I think they'll just have too much quality for them, and I think they'll win. Fulham haven't, didn't, like you said, didn't turn up against Chelsea. They drew before that, and they won. I believe was it against Everton was their last win.
Yeah.
Oh no, it was against Luton actually, the team we're playing. But yeah, I'm going to go 1-0 Fulham against Sheffield United. That's what I think.
1-0 Fulham. Any particular goal scorer in mind?
Who scored there? So they won in against Norwich. They haven't actually scored they've scored 1 goal in their last 3 games.
Yeah, they're bereft of any kind of creativity up the top end of the pitch at the moment. Vinicius.
I reckon Jimenez is going to get the goal.
Raul Jimenez, is it? I'm also going to go. No, I've gone 2-0 Fulham, even though I don't know why I did. I've seen that. I'm probably rethinking it, but I've written it down now. So I'm going to go 2-0 Fulham for the same reasons. I think both teams are really poor at the moment, but Sheffield United just look abject. They can't seem to. The best performance of the season was against Tottenham, I think, and apart from that, they've been really struggling to kind of. I think they've scored 5 goals in 7 games. I just think Fulham will have a little bit too much. I'm going to go 2-0. I think Willian's going to get back on the score sheet on this one. So that's my prediction. Next one. This one should be or could be, famous last words, a decent, interesting game. Manchester United, Brentford, and I've just realised that I haven't been pulling up these branded logos. Sorry about that.
Don't worry about it. I mean, this is my shameless prediction of the week. Man United 0, Brentford 2.
Wow. Okay. Troubles continue for old Eric.
They lost to Galatasaray, by the way. They had Icardi up front, and he's about 40 or whatever. I mean, he's not. He's 30. Davinson Sanchez, that Rolls Royce, got 2 assists against them. But that being said, Rasmus Højlund looks a player. He looks very, very good.
Yeah.
Ash, is that real? I mean, can I be that shameless?
Yeah, you are.
Yeah.
It's in the thumbnail, mate, so you have to be now.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Man United 2-0. Man United 2-0. Sorry, Brentford 2-0. Man United are going to lose. 2-0. Goal scorers, Buemo with a brace, because he's in my dream. He's in my fantasy team.
He's in mine too. Listen, Brentford, I think Brentford are a better team than... Where are they in the league at the moment, Brentford? I think they're...
They haven't actually won a game.
They're 14th, aren't they? They're only on 7 points. They've only won 1 game all season, 4 draws. They're a sort of draw merchant. Obviously, they drew against Tottenham as well for opening day. I think they're a very good team when they're fully fit. But I know that they've lost Rico Henry, is it, for 4 or 5 months to a really bad injury. And I think losing that pace down their left-hand side is going to be a problem, but not that much of a problem that I think United are going to get the win. I genuinely think that United are all over the place at the moment. They can't buy a win. The pressure is on Erik ten Hag. If he doesn't win this game, I think the calls for his head might get a little bit louder amongst some sections of the United fan base, which to me is crazy because I think he's only a little way into his project and he needs time to figure it out. But I'm going to go 2-2, a Desmond 2-2, and I think Højlund's going to score for United, and I'm also going to go for an Buemo. He'll get on the score sheet as well. But I think it's going to be a really interesting game. A lot of mistakes and a lot of talking points afterwards.
Yeah, I agree, mate.
Next up on the list, we've got Everton. We've done Everton versus Bournemouth. Crystal Palace versus Nottingham Forest. Interesting game. This could be a good one.
Doesn't get you excited, does it? I mean, if you're a Palace or a Forest fan, but I
like watching Nottingham Forest. I think Forest are a good. They always seem to put on. I quite like watching them. I think they're an interesting team to watch. Palace, we've got so many injuries though, haven't they? They've lost Eze, Edouard, and Elise at the moment. So where are they going to get there?
They haven't won since the 2nd of September when they beat Chelsea. Since then, they've drawn to Brentford, Burnley, and they've lost to City. I think this has got 1-1 written all over it.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a tough game to predict. I think the goal scorers... I'm going to go with that striker for Forest. Is it Anawi? And how I can't pronounce it.
Awoniyi.
Yeah, I think he will score. And for Palace, Eze. But it
Eze's
wouldn't
injured, isn't
surprise
he?
me.
Isn't Eze out injured for a while?
He's out injured.
I thought so. Let's look.
Are
Eze
we doing it
injury.
again? Because last time we said that.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. Ever actually Eze's injury. Yeah, he's injured.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Let's have a look.
Edouard, the striker.
He's also out injured.
Really?
Eze's got a serious hamstring injury, so he's out for a while.
All right, I'm just going to say the Forest goal scorer. I mean, I haven't watched. I don't think I've watched a single Palace game this year.
Yeah, no, Odsonne Edouard is also out with. I think he's got a hammy as well. So yeah, and as is Elise, but not. I don't think Elise's got a hammy.
I'm going to go goal scorer. I'm going to go for Mateta.
All right,
Is he fit?
I'm not the Crystal Palace medical team, mate. I just know that the big three names are out injured at the moment. I'm going to say 2-1 to Forest because I do think Forest have got a little bit about them, and I do like watching them play, and I've gone for a 1 year as well. Next up, mate, this one should be a good one. Brighton versus Liverpool. Both teams played midweek on Thursday, so they're playing on Sunday. Two teams. Well, Brighton off the back of a Premier League spanking last time out to
and they they were 2-0 down to Marseille as well. I don't think Brighton are. You need to change the banner, by the way. I don't think Brighton are. I think they're in a bit of a wobble, to be honest. They haven't really taken to the Europa League extremely well. They lost to AEK Athens, and then they've drawn to Marseille. They sit bottom of their Europa League group. They got an absolute spanking by a Rolls Royce of a manager, Unai Emery, where Ollie Watkins got a hat-trick and 2 assists. They currently sit 6th in the league, which, they've scored the most goals in the Premier League as well, which is incredible. You wouldn't have thought after 7 games that Villa and Brighton would have scored the most goals. But I'm going to go Brighton 0, Liverpool 2, and I'm going to go Darwin Núñez. No, not Darwin Núñez. Diaz and Salah for the goal scorers. I think Liverpool will be too strong. They're going to want to bounce back after the result they had against us. They won in midweek yesterday against Union Saint-Gilles, the Belgium team. And Salah only played 40 minutes. They rested Diaz. They rested Van Dijk. They rested Robertson. I think they'll win 2-0.
It's interesting for me. I've gone for 2-2 because I think it's going to be an interesting game. But I've got to be honest, I do worry a little bit about Brighton because, like you say, they're in Europe. They have struggled a little bit, but their style of football is so energetic, so high tempo that juggling 2 games a week, trying to get through 4 competitions with that sort of energy requirements. Yeah, I'm not sure if they're going to have the stamina to get through I think they might fall away. The more I think about it, I think depending on how well they do in the cups and then Europe, I think they might fall away in the second half of the season. I think it's just going to take its toll on them a little bit. But right now, I still think they're going to have enough about them to ask questions of Liverpool, and I think that they're going to want to try and come back from their embarrassment against your mate Unai Emery's team. So I'm going to go
Rolls Royce, by the way. He won in Europe yesterday as well.
I'm
sorry, mate, but he is a serious manager. Like, he doesn't get anywhere near the props he should. Took over Villa a year ago. 1 year ago, he took over them in August. They're sitting 5th in the league. They've won their Conference League games. They absolutely... Everyone was like, after they lost to Newcastle, everyone was like writing him off.
Yeah, I was as well. Yeah, I was like... Because you and Sava in the summer were boring me to tears.
You just dislike Villa. Be honest. You just dislike Villa.
I do dislike Villa. Yeah, I've got no time for them. But they are surprising to the upside. But listen, let's not sort of celebrate that they won in Europe. Where were they playing? The arse end of Lithuania in the Conference League.
Yeah, some team in like Uzbekistan or something.
All right. Well, look. Either way, Brighton 2, Liverpool 2 is my score prediction on that one. Moving on, well, you know what? Let's jump ahead to Wolves versus Aston Villa. Things talking about your team, Midlands derby. Black
Only one
Country
outcome.
derby should be interesting.
Only one outcome.
Which is?
Wolves 1, Villa 2. Neto with a Wolves goal, and he's going to stink it out. He's going to go up. He's going to go to Molineux and stink it out. Ollie Watkins with a brace, and that reminds me because I need to get him into my team because he is at the moment an absolute. There's talk of Arsenal going in for him, isn't there? Like a lot of rumours. Ollie Watkins for me. You put him up front in Tottenham's team. The amount of chances we create, he'd get 15 goals a season.
Was he called up for the England squad?
I don't think so.
Because I'm pretty sure I saw Gareth Southgate having a little dig saying, I'm looking at it now. Oh, no, yeah, he's been called up. He has been called up. But he was asked whether or not he's going to play or whether he should be playing because of his form. And Gareth Southgate had the audacity to say, yeah, I know he's having a bit of a hot run, but, you shouldn't. Sometimes it's dangerous just to worry about that because that can lead you into.
He just needs to get sacked.
He's an absolute Burke. He's an absolute Burke of the highest caliber.
It's like we've got someone, a city boy out of London, right? And just put him on a waistcoat. He's normal attire to work. So go manage England, mate. Like it's embarrassing. Yes, we made a Euro final that we didn't turn up in. Yes, we made a World Cup semi-final against Croatia we didn't turn up in. Anyway, look, I'll get back to the Premier League, but I can't stand Gareth Southgate.
Yeah, same. So you're going 2-1 to Aston Villa, brace. And Watkins going to get the brace. Yeah, well, listen, I've actually got Watkins as my goal scorer, and I've also gone 2-1. So let's hope we're both right on that one, but it's not going to affect who wins the points, let's be honest. Moving on to the penultimate fixture of the weekend, my man, West Ham versus Newcastle. This is a fixture that usually, in my opinion, is one I look forward to. I'll certainly be looking out for these on Match of the Day. I am going for an upset here. I think that Newcastle might just be kind of coming down off the crest of a wave after their exploits in midweek. I think they're, on cloud 9 right now, smashing over Mbappe's PSG and making it look convincing. But a trip down to East London isn't always a nice place to go. And I think West Ham will make it really difficult for them. I think West Ham are a really good squad, have a really good midfield. They've used that Rice money very effectively. And I think that West Ham will be I think they're going to take points off a lot of big teams this season, especially at home. And I think Newcastle are the next victim. And I think that I'm going to go for a 2-1 West Ham win. And your mate, Jared Bowen, is going to be the guy who hammers the nail in the coffin.
Bring him, I like that pun as well. Bring him to Tottenham, mate, Jared Bowen. Do you know West Ham set a record last night for the longest unbeaten run in Europe by an English team? And they have never lost a group stage game under David Moyes. 3 years in Europe, 2 years in the Europa League, 1 year in the Conference League, and they have never lost a group stage game. Like,
Yeah, go on. Carry on, sorry.
Take your Spurs footballing hat off. That is incredible.
It really is, yeah. I think West Ham are a growing entity. I know they're never going to have the money that other clubs have got, but they're a well-supported team in their local area, and I think that they go about their business. And I don't dislike West Ham as a Tottenham fan. I know I'm supposed to, but I actually quite appreciate their presence, and I think that they are a good team in Europe, and I think they're doing bits this season. I don't think they'll get into Europe via the league, but they probably won't expect to. But if they can, have a good European run this year, and also
you say that 8th could be the Conference League. I think West Ham can finish 8th.
Ahead of Brentford,
yeah, or Fulham, or
ahead of Chelsea.
Why not? They'll go and spend in January. I think Chelsea could finish. I think that's so hard to predict right now. But
for West Ham to finish 8th, they'll need to finish ahead of either Chelsea or one of the big teams plus a Brentford. That 8th spot is available for.
I think they. I think their main focus will be winning that. I mean, if they win the League Cup, you get into the Conference League. So why not? West Ham have got their mentality is changing now. Like they've won the Conference League and now they're 2 for 2 in the Europa League games, beating. Okay. Bacca Topolo is not a great team, is it? But they beat Freiburg at Freiburg's ground.
Yeah.
Yesterday, and Freiburg sit 8th in the Bundesliga. 1-3, drawn 1, lost 2. West Ham are,
Mate, they've got a really nicely balanced team now. Really nicely balanced. They've got
That being
some
said, Newcastle are going to win this game.
Are they? All right.
West Ham travel to Germany. Newcastle are at home Tuesday night or Wednesday night. I think it's got 2-1 Newcastle. Well, no, I'm going 2-2 draw.
2-2, a Desmond 2-2.
Kudus, Bowen, and I don't know who's going to score for Newcastle.
Okay. Oh, Kudus is a good player. He's going to be a really interesting player.
Yeah, he's quality, isn't he? Absolutely
He's
quality.
really, really good. Yeah. They got a gem there. And then the last one, mate, we're going to wrap it up after that. We'll give it a few minutes because it is a massive game. Arsenal versus Manchester City to finish off the weekend. If this is a draw and Tottenham win, then Tottenham stay top of the table until, after the international break. Come on. Title race is on. But if one of these two teams do take the points and Tottenham drop points, then they could easily find themselves at the top of the table as well. It's a difficult one to predict, this one. We spoke about it last night on Lee Judge's channel. I went for a Man City win. I think you went for an Arsenal win, didn't you?
Draw.
You went for a draw. Explain to me your thoughts on the game, mate.
Look, you said it last night. Arsenal have got to take their chances. Man City, won in Europe, and before that they lost to Wolves and they lost to Newcastle. I think with them, with City's midfield, they are a little bit more vulnerable than they normally would. Obviously, Nunez and Kovacic are good players, but it's not De Bruyne and Rodri, is it? I think City can be got at. If Saka, I don't think he's going to be playing. If he was playing, I would definitely say, City can be got at. I just think this game's. I think Arteta's going to go with his game plan, which is try and attack Man City, and I think they can be got at right now. But you can't. City have got so much firepower. It's incredible. It wouldn't surprise me if Arsenal went 1-0 up and City come back into it. Where I think the game's going to be won and lost is if the most important player on the pitch for City is Alvarez. If Alvarez gets space in and around that box, on the outside of the box, he's going to be crucial to creating chances for the likes of Erling Haaland. But my gut is telling me this is going to be a 2-2 draw. It's exactly what I said on Judge's channel. I think Arsenal, everyone's going to be up for it. They are, they need to win this game. Mentally, if Guardiola beats them again, that's Potts said it last night. They haven't won since 2015 against City League. Forget the dinner plate they got out of IKEA, the Charity Shield, right?
Yeah.
This is the Premier League. And if Man City win, when are they ever going to... If you can't beat City now with no Rodri, no De Bruyne, that's their best two players for me. Imagine Tottenham without Maddison and Son, or Maddison and Basuma. Different outlet.
100%. 100%. For me, I just think that the difference between the two teams comes down to ruthlessness and quality in the final third when it comes to finishing. I think Arsenal have got a fantastic team, but I don't think they're as confident, or there's something that's not quite the same about them this year. And I think that they're wasteful. I think that they taking too many. They get 6 or 7 chances, but they need 7 or 8 to score 1 or 2.
Yeah, I do agree with that.
Man City don't need that many chances, and Arsenal, both teams will concede chances because both teams have got, electrifying options up the top end. Also, we don't know who's going to be playing for Arsenal. If Thomas Partey's back, Arsenal's chances go up a little bit. If Martinelli's back, Arsenal's chances go up a little bit more. But for me, I think that I just see it going a way where Arsenal might be a little bit sloppy. They don't take their chances. If they do, if they get off to a good start and the first time they get a gilt-edged chance, they take it, then it's going to be a really interesting game. But for me, I just think that if Man City have 3 chances, they probably score 2 of them. Even if Erling Haaland's having an off day, you've got 2 or 3 other players there that probably won't, whether it's Grealish, Foden, or as you say, Julian Alvarez. I just think they've got a little bit too much. And so I've gone for 2-1 to Manchester City, but I do think it's going to be an absolute ripper of a game.
Yeah, I mean, if Man City win it, it wouldn't surprise anyone, would it, if City won it?
Yeah. All right, guys, been a little bit longer than we were hoping for, but we're going to wrap it up there. So Luton, Burnley, Everton, Fulham, United, Palace, Brighton, West Ham, Wolves and Arsenal all host their games this week. end. We will be back on Monday for a recap or review to see how many points I smash Henry by to go 2-0 up in the series. And we wish you a wonderful weekend wherever you are and whoever you support. What are we saying? How do you say it? As always, up the shameless. Up the shameless. There you go.
Up the shameless.